Oh, I'm tiny faced. That's weird, isn't it? Hello. Good evening and welcome to the Full Force News Burst Live. Do you know what? It's been a funny old evening getting this set up. There was all sorts of tech issues, so it's not surprising that my video was wrong as I started. Yes, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. Yes, it's like the 24-hour GI Joe news cycle. It is constant, isn't it? And of course today I woke up to the news that there had been even more leaks of images of, Battle Armor Cobra Commander's helmet. There was a major Bludd head. There was some Cold Slither instruments, all sorts of stuff. Again, I think if things are going to be leaked, can they all just go up at once? So I can do one big episode, one big live, and then just relax. But no, every day it has to happen, doesn't it? Anyway, I don't know why I'm complaining. It's all fun. It's all good times. And we get to talk more G.I. Joe, don't we? Everyone in the chat, hope everyone is doing well. Lots of you. My goodness. Tiny face Chris, yay. It was like this, wasn't it? Hang on. Can I do it? Can I replicate that? No, that's not it. I'm going to replicate it. That's slightly tinier. There's like I can't even do it when that happens. It's like, why? I can't even replicate that now, like on demand. That's how funny that is. Anywho, let's get stuck in because we've got a few things to talk about, haven't we? So let's do that. Correct size face? Yes. Anyway, here's a question from Stan. Do Shaw Lu and JCon 7 leak other brands too? I believe they do. Like whenever I've seen a leak of like G.I. Joe parts, there's always like a few Marvel Legends or Black Series or what have you kind of like trickled in there as well. And I think they're sort of like focused on in a different way, or they're already known. It could be that they're already known, at that point. But yeah, it's, I don't know, just awesome that we're getting some of the figures that we're getting. It's not, I personally, I'm not a fan of the leaks necessarily, because I do like being surprised, and I like kind of seeing that stuff and then being like, oh, awesome, I wasn't expecting that. So when we kind of get those leaks, it's a little bit like, oh, I was kind of hoping, I hope for the big reveal of like a promo image or something like that, or official. But at the same time, it's still really exciting. And then you see these things and and it gets you buzzing and you get you talking with other people. And yeah, and there's a bit to get through tonight. So let's start though with the fact that yesterday, Shaw Lu or Jay Khan, I can't remember who actually now it was, posted. Oh, this was Reddit. Sorry, this was on Reddit. This image popped up on Reddit of different legs that just happened to appear. We got Dice Cobra Commander, Battle Armor Cobra Commander, I should say, Monkey Wrench, Firefighter, and Major Bludd, which was all kind of like very eyebrow raising. Ooh, new characters we haven't seen yet. Some, characters we knew were coming, like Dice and the Firefighter, who we've actually seen actual, figures and all that stuff. But there were obviously a few in there that were quite like, ooh, eyebrow raising, like Battle Armor Cobra Commander. Monkey Wrench, who obviously we'd had that kind of character reveal on the back of the Cold Slither box from New York Toy Fair. You're welcome. Just kidding. And of course, Major Bludd, who, it's like we just don't know what we're really going to expect here, other than another Major Bludd, and I imagine maybe slightly redecoed. There's different parts already, because that leg is a different leg to the one that we got with the original Major Bludd. It's just the shin and the boot that are the foot that are effectively the same from the original Major Bludd, I believe. And then the kind of like upper lower leg, the knee and the thigh are Outback, I believe, or something along those lines. In any case, it's a slightly different build for Major Bludd, so it will be a slightly different figure, I imagine. But the other thing that we got, I'll just show Major Bludd on screen here, is a sort of cheeky head popped up. But again, it is the same head that we know and love from the Cobra Island Major Bludd, which is, it's an amazing head sculpt, by the way. I really love this one. I know a lot of people, though, were very much kind of hoping for a different head sculpt, maybe like something a little bit more classic, a bit classic Bludd, you know. But you never know. There might be. This is the thing. We know that it's a retail wave of 4 figure, the Major Bludd one, or at least from the listings that we've had previously. And the, you know, it could come with an alternate head as well. Like this obviously is showing up with this Battle Armor Cobra Commander kind of head helmet thing is interesting. Like it's either, yeah, they're running it again and they're utilizing the same molds again, which is understandable. But yeah, it's weird that like the head would kind of pop up as well here, even though we've already had it. So that said, there could be an alternate head. We have no idea yet. So you never know. You never know. It will be interesting to see what arm they use, because will they use the same arm that we got with the Cobra Island Major Bludd? It's highly likely. It's possible. Or that could be a new part. They could be reusing like the boots and the feet like we've seen on that leg. They could reuse elements like the secondary. They could reuse the torso and all that kind of stuff, because you don't really see it under there. Or we could get a new secondary, and we could get a new arm, and we could get like a, you know, maybe an alternate head. So we don't really know yet. And I'm sure that with, you know, more leaks probably later tonight or in 5 seconds that I've gone live, we may even see more of these figures. But yeah. Happy birthday, Chris G in the chat. Happy birthday. What else am I saying? Hello, David. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, everyone. Speculation, says Barking Fridge. Bloodhead is coming with Battle Armor Cobra Commander. Surprise. Could you imagine? That'd be hilarious. Yeah, it's not a retro card back, but there's no, you know, there's nothing saying that we might not get some sort of like retro vibe going on. They may even redeco it as well. Like I could see a redeco here. But yeah, it's not retro carded, but I don't know. They might do some extra bits to it. And like I said, you never know. There could be an alternate head. Maybe not, but there could be. We'll have to wait and see, won't we, when it leaks, I guess. So Major Bludd, that sort of covers Major Bludd. Gross. I do, yeah, I must admit, I think if you're going to do Major Bludd again, I know he came out in the Target. He came out as an exclusive originally, so it's not like putting him in the retail wave of 4 is a bad idea. It gives people maybe the opportunity to get that sort of figure again, in the same way that they've done for like, God, I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but like taking a character out of the exclusive arena and putting it into, you know, mainline effectively, so people can get it again. Eel, I suppose, but Eel was a retro card back, so that's a bad example, because yeah, this is not a retro card back. But you know, it will allow people to get Bludd similarly to that Cobra Island release, I guess, and that might be where they're kind of going with it. Yeah, so I don't know. At the end of the day, it's hard to kind of understand some of the decisions, but then after the fact, it does make sense, and you kind of go, okay, I see what was going on there. And in some cases, you know, mistakes are made. But that said, I don't know what's going to go on with this. I personally think if I was the one in charge of kind of doing another Bludd, I probably would have done a retro card back, Major Bludd, made some changes to some of the parts of the body, head sculpt, all that kind of jazz, and just put out a sort of classic Bludd, and yeah, and kind of done it on a retro card back. But maybe there's an element there where they're looking at the whole line plan and they're saying, well, this makes sense, but this could go in here, this could go in there, doesn't it? You know, it could be mainline because it hasn't been in mainline yet, and you sort of get a kind of similar figure. So I don't know. We'll have to see, won't we, with that one? But this is the thing, isn't it? It's all very much a wait and see with Bludd, because I've been scratching my head on that for ever since we got the listing. I've been like, what's that going to be? So anyway, let's let's wait and see, shall we? Next up then, and Cobra Commander. So not only, I should say as well, J-Con 7 and Shaw Lu with the Cobra Commander and Major Bludd, and Cold Slither, which we'll look at in a little while, images. So shout outs to all involved on that one. So Battle Armor Cobra Commander, we saw the leg from the front the other day, courtesy of the Reddit user Kwanzai0813. God, if I remember that correctly, that's weird. I hope that is correct. In any case, that image came out there on Reddit, and then again, like this morning, a side shot of the leg popped out, and it's making me actually a little bit excited. Kitty said, not for fetish reasons, but it looks as though I was kind of complaining about the possible lack of Shin's kind of articulation, but it looks like there might be a swivel cut lower down the leg, just like above the ankle, basically, where you've got that little kind of like extra bit that sticks out the front, like going up. And if you look at both images, you can kind of almost see where that cut could, you can actually see it on the other image as well. There's a line, a very clear line going across that obviously stops when you get to that little bit of kind of like that little pyramid at the front of the bottom of the shin, which obviously is a separate piece that sticks up. And I could see that being a split where you could get that that extra articulation. And I think if they've done that, and that is exactly what we're seeing, then I'm very excited, because that's made me go, okay, good. They have learned from the great Arctic mission Storm Shadow, and hopefully we'll never get that kind of issue again. So this is really cool. Yes, Max says the only thing that may break that boot swivel is the rub at the front. It would block movement on the shin, though. Yes, I don't know. I think that's going to work. I think that will work okay. It'll definitely give the ankle, the foot, an ability to twist a little bit. So I'm quite happy about that. Oh, thank you, Mark. That's really kind thing to say. Thank you, Mark P587. I might cry. I won't. Stanley says, I see the ankle break. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what they've done here. I think that's what they've done here, and I think that could be something really cool on this. But in any case, again, this is one of those things where we'll find out in due time, won't we? But yeah, I'm excited now for that articulation. And that articulation point has made me excited. What the hell is wrong with me? Hi, Long Online. I'm just talking about the leaks that we've had this morning, going into today, basically. Anyway, that was the extra leg sort of like image, and again, a little bit more detail on that one. And we see it from the side as well. I know it's cool to see multiple angles of that thing. Very cool to see. As you can see, the interior blue part of the thigh definitely seems to be a cut there that you can, twist. That makes a lot of sense. And it's a nice little kind of, aesthetic as well. And it keeps the aesthetic of that amazing armor on his legs too. Yeah, really cool. Really happy with just that leg. And then we haven't yet, Robert, but let's talk about that now while we talk heads. So we got this going on. Now, as it stands, we just don't this is like very early production, right? This is super early. This is like, some things are just not fully done here, are they? Let's face it. So let's not get too concerned about whether it's a helmet or a head sculpt or whatever. We just don't know at this point. It's very likely that it could be either. It could be just like it could be a very like early kind of like test for that helmet. Obviously it's got a space for the mouthpiece, the little hose, which will connect obviously to the side of the helmet as well, which we don't really see the other side, unfortunately. We only see that one side, which has kind of got like almost like a circular sort of like ear spot. So maybe that kind of clips in on the other side into like a little hole, but it's pretty clear that a hose is going to go there. And that's why I've put the original head on screen, just so we've got like some frame of reference a little bit as well. In terms of what you were saying there, Robert, about have we talked about a possible Fred 7 head? That would be great, wouldn't it, if there are alternate heads with this? Now I'm definitely one for I like removable helmets when it makes sense. Removable helmets sort of make sense when you've got like balaclava heads, which could be the case here. They could do like a balaclava head that works with this helmet, and then an alternate, a bunch of maybe another alternate head possibly for like Fred 7, because I think a Fred head would be perfect to put in with this. And also it would be like one of those things where people would be buying lots of Battle Armor Cobra Commanders anyway, but to get multiple Fred heads for their Crimson Guards, I mean, it's like a no-brainer, especially if the neck ball works. Which again would be great forethought if that is something they end up doing. If not, missed opportunity? Possibly. Would they do it in another way? I don't know how, but I'm sure you could, because it's one of those things where I think CGs, like Crimson Guards, with a Fred head just seems so obvious to me. Like, and to if you put it in with a Cobra Commander, you get people buying multiples of these. You just would. You get multiples of them anyway because you'd want people will be wanting to put different heads on and stuff like that. If it's a removable helmet, that's kind of even like that minimizes the opportunity for us to go out there, buy loads of them. I know that's what we probably prefer, is to have a figure that was a bit more versatile, that we wouldn't have to buy multiples of to like feel like we're displaying everything. But at the same time, I know that's got to be in the back of their minds in terms of like selling a lot of even though Cobra Commander is going to go like that, like he sells no problem, like he's a core character. We haven't had this this version of him for a long time, so I think it would be great. And also I can see this being done in Crimson, I could see this being done in Blue, I could see this being done in friggin' Black, I could see this being Python Patrol. I could see them doing lots of different versions of this particular Cobra Commander, because it's just it'd be a no-brainer redeco kind of tastic situation for them, because it's a unique figure. You're not really reusing a lot of parts on this. Maybe Barricade like they did back in the day. No, you're not what you're not going to reuse this much. You've very little reuse options other than redecos, and I just think that may be where we see Fred heads in the future. You never know, we could see one here. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, it's just I hope it does. And sometimes when you hope for something like this, it just turns out that that's not going to be the case, and then you feel disappointed. Sorry, I've just eaten. So Kev Jewel has said, wasn't this CC originally supposed to be an army builder? I don't know about that. Is that in one of Dan K's books? A bit of like kind of concept information from back in the day. I do have that one with Battle Armor Cobra Commander in it, but it's too far away from me right now. I don't know is the answer to that, but that's pretty cool if it was. It would quite possibly be an entirely new figure, and they'll have to get mileage out of their molds. Totally, Robert. That's what I'm thinking anyway. He had a V-style skin mask and Deke over his lizard head. That's true, actually. You got the reuse of the Cobra Commander once a man head, really, kind of, but then slightly maybe redeco it to kind of match the Deke version. So yeah, there's a lot of heads you can put in with this. There's the Deke kind of like once a man Cobra head, mutated head, I should say. You've got the Fred head, easy for me to say. And you've got the the comic head, which is like, the tash, the shades, the ponytail, etc., etc. So there's a lot of options for alternate heads with Cobra Commander. And I think it would be really cool if we could get a few sprinkled in with this release, honestly. But I do think the Fred head makes the most sense here as an alternate, If this is a head and not a helmet, then 100% would be amazing. Too many eyes on once a man. Yes, Niximus Prime, but you honestly see them redoing another head, or do you think they're just going to redeco another head they've already got? I'm just looking at it from a practical point of view. Would I like to see them redo a head that's specifically, like the one in the Deke cartoon? Yes. But is it more likely that they're going to just it's more likely they're going to reuse Once a Man. If that is the case, they might not. It might not even show up. Might not be in here. They might be thinking, if we just keep the neck balls the same, you guys can just pop that head off Once a Man and stick it on this. We are, do you know what? I was watching. Shout out to Dan Larson. I was watching Secret Galaxies video on the Dukes of Hazzard, I think it was. He does amazing videos, Dan. I'm sure you will all watch Dan's stuff on Secret Galaxy. But it was a breakdown of like the history of the Dukes of Hazzard, and at one point he talks about the Deke, the heads of Deke, and he calls them like But it sounded like when he said it, he didn't say it knowing that he was saying it Deke heads, if you know what I'm saying. He said it as if it was like that was perfectly fine, and there was I'm going to ask him if he meant that on purpose, but it's brilliant. Fred head makes sense and can be reused with future CG, says Jeremy. Yes, indeed. I wonder why he's redesigned but not the helmet. Well, actually, Joss, I think the leg looks very much like the 25th version. So it's probably they're probably just kind of not redesigning as such, but they're probably following a little closer to the 25th version as opposed to the vintage version. Think this will be exclusive? No, Jay, it's a retail Wave of 4 figure. We've already did the listings of the day. You can be able to see that in a sec when we finish this. I'll show you the listings, and this Battle Armor Cobra Commander is in one of the next 4 figure waves, basically, as is Bludd. The one from Operation Dragonfire, yes, absolutely. Chuckle's head works very well on CG. That's cool, Jenna. I did not know that. Do you know what? I'm gonna try that next. I've both of those figures out. I've got all of those figures out, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that head swap. Neck balls, long and line, indeed. Absolutely, Kitty said. Jeremy says also was recently used this year in the Harmer comics. This Cobra Commander, yes, absolutely. What if the head on the right is Fred's? I think the head on the right, if you look at the bottom left image, it's going to be confusing for people. The bottom left image, I believe that's Blowtorch's head. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's Blowtorch's head sculpt. Yes, Robert, same answer to that question. Paul says, I like the Cobra emblem is molded on the helmet and not just a tampo like the 25th. Yes. Good point. I hadn't even thought of that, but you're right. Very much like the vintage figure with that kind of molded Cobra logo. Yes, absolutely. Great shout. Cropstar says, Dan mentioned me in his Toy Fair recap. Oh, Dan's great. I'm friends with him. He's a good lad. He's been on the show a few times. I've actually done a lot of episodes with him and Jay on their kind of history of G.I. Joe kind of years and stuff like that. It was really fun. Dan's great. Love Dan. Got nothing but great things to say about Dan. He's the best. Dan Larson. Liquid Identity says anyone could be a Fred. Wasn't that the point? Yes, but they all look the same still. The natural head to use is Kamakura's. Nice shout, Thanos. That's a good shout. Jeremy says it is Blowtorch. Yeah, I thought it was. The heads are being used for scale, maybe. Yeah. Or it's just like it was like a lot of things that came in, and they take pictures of the lot that they've just put on the opened the bag and put them down. Basically, is what I'm thinking on that one. But yeah, probably there is an element I imagine of here's some other heads next to it to show you if it's like a head sculpt or if it's like a helmet or something. Chris Morjo classified small vehicles coming. I don't know, Mark, actually. Let me think, actually, off the top of my head. Any small Joe vehicles that I'm aware of? Yes, one. But I can't say what it is yet. But yes is my answer to that. There will be more coming, small vehicle based, yeah. Although I think it's more mid-range. In terms of small vehicles, I don't know is the answer to that one, Mark P. If you're talking like Ferret, Trouble Bubble, obviously you are. Ferret, Trouble Bubble, could we call the Claw a small vehicle? It's massive. Snake armor isn't even a small vehicle. That is massive as well. I think what I'm thinking of is more in league in between sort of the small ones and like the Vamps and the Stingers and stuff like that. It's kind of like an in-between sort of thing. Mace Windu is Cobra Commander. That's not true. Did Fred 1 have plastic surgery? Yes. Who takes these pics? Well, I'm assuming Jaycan7 and Shaw Lu are the people that are taking the pictures, Robert. That's the thing. I don't know any. I know very little, or actually nothing, other than the names about any of these people. But I imagine they've got very strong links to. It's got to be the factory, isn't it? It's a lot of factory leaks. It feels like, which you'd think. I don't know. It can't be an easy thing to stand. Obviously, it's not an easy thing to stay on top of because, my goodness, how many have we had? How many have we had in the last year alone? It's been nuts, absolutely nuts. Jamie Lynn says, "Yeah, he showed your awesome gimbal camera rig setup. I'll tell you a story about that, Jamie Lynn. Emily had that. That's Emily's rig, by the way." And she had it, and she was kind of like, she was going to take some pictures with it, and she showed it to me, and I'm like, oh man, that's well cool. And she told me it was like really, it was only like however much from Amazon or whatever. I'm like, that's awesome. So she sent me the link. I'm probably going to grab one of these. They're amazing. And then she said, well, do you want to use it for now? And I'm like, okay. So I managed to just yoink that, plugged my camera in, and just I took the footage of the front section, like the retro figures, the firefighter, and that interview with Lenny and Dan. That was with that rig, and then I switched out for my gimbal, and Oh, maybe he showed you my actual gimbal, which is really cool. It's like a one handle thing, really cool. It's really cool, that my gimbal. But yeah, Emily had this amazing rig. It's like this big, had two handles, phone locked in the middle, had a light on it. It was freaking awesome. I'm not sure what he showed. I'm gonna have to watch his live stream. Chris, would you do Thursday with a friend, a punk with toys, following Pat's recent episode? Absolutely. I need to reach out to a punk with toys because that was really cool. That episode with Pat. Armadillo confirmed. No, it's not the armadillo. Comicsy Cafe says, okay, but when are we getting more leaks for Snake Eyes version 4? Can't wait to see the head sculpt proto. There probably will be more Snake Eyes leaks, I'd imagine. But who knows when. We're probably going to see everything, aren't we? We've got the 18th. We've got, 8 days? And we've got another fans. 8 days. Guys. 8 days. Another fan stream, more name onlys, more renders, more friggin' pre-orders. I can't keep up. I genuinely can't keep up. He says doing a news burst every day for like however many weeks it's been. None of those guys that you're mentioning in the comments. Are all these across the pond people? I believe so, Rob. I think it's all basically kind of. I think a lot of them are based in the Far East. I believe. I don't know, but that would make a lot of sense, especially if they're, if they've got strong ties to the factories out there. If Fred 1 had plastic surgery, then Sean wouldn't look like Fred 1, as plastic surgery doesn't pass on genetically. That's true, Jeremy. That's very true. 12 to 13 leaks. Is that how many it's been, Earl? Oh my goodness. No, I'm not reading that, Johnny, because it's not. Anyway, you're all just going to be like, why is Emily just the best? She is amazing. I love Emily. She's great. She's absolutely awesome, and she's always like super helpful and friendly, and especially like giving me that whole rig to use. It was great. But yeah, if you're talking about my I have an actual gimbal that I actually use, and I did use in the back room because it's really cool. Like it floats around and like follows. You can move. You've got a little remote control on the handle as well, and it kind of moves. It's so good. I could just why am I describing it? It's right next to me. I could just do this. I could just pull it out. So it starts off like this, right? And then like any cool weapon of mass destruction. You open it out like that. It's like floating around a little bit. You plug your phone in there. I'll do that as well, just to show you the cool little automatic like auto setup it does. So you grip your phone in, even with the thing in, like so, and then you press the power button. Ready for this? And it goes, and then you can have it like that, or you can have it like that. You just move it with your hand, and then you've got the little, look at that. Can you see that moving? That's remote control. I've got a little remote control, and I'm panning left to right. It's well good. And then you can move around, and it just follows it, and it stays still as you move. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Hey. So yeah, that's my go-to gimbal that I use for all these kind of events and stuff. And this is great. It's so cool. And then it just folds down into this little kind of like tiny thing, and then you fold it up and zip it up into a tiny little holder. It's well good. And I've also in here, there's a little tripod for it that you kind of screw into the bottom. So it's absolutely so cool. I love it. Anyway, next leak will be a video of the Hasbro live stream from the future. Paul, that is absolutely genius. Absolutely genius. That's where it's going. That's where it's trending. It's like the leaks are getting so heinous. It's going to be future leaks. Like, how have they done? We haven't even made this yet. We haven't even discussed this in a meeting. The brand team are sitting around the table. When did we reveal that? And it's like this AI kind of like recreation of a live stream. In fact, we're not far off that, are we? We are not far off that at all. Hilarious. Now Classified Scoop is going to have the gimbal like that. He should do, actually. Anyway, absolutely hilarious. Oh, stop saying really nice. Actually, no, I don't mean that. Say really nice things in the comments. I do appreciate it. But Earl, that is really kind of you to say, and I appreciate it, mate, very much. How am I able to match the name figures with the code names and elite listings? Because PHF attack. It's because when we get those listings, sometimes they come with actual what they are and the internal code words, but we don't we can't reveal that for obvious reasons until there is an official name only or whatever as well. But we end up with listings from all over the place. Lots of leaked listings get out all the time, unfortunately. But yeah, and then effectively when you see them like leaked, it's because someone else who has those exact same listings is dropping it out there, basically. But yeah, that's effectively what's going on there. Yeah, and in some cases we know what those listings are going to be, and in other cases we only know the internal code word. It's kind of like, and then obviously where we've unlocked them, when we get like a name only, we've known that one for a while. And when you know, maybe one stays red for like a majority of the year, it's because we have no clue what it is, honestly. But anyway, yeah, there is your. We've looked at Cobra Commander's helmet, Kitty said, for a long enough now. I think it's totally cool. I'm down for this Cobra Commander. I am excited to see the full sort of situation. But anyway, yeah, I will give it 5 minutes. We probably are going to get the full figure shown off, aren't we? This looks amazing, Chris. Such great things coming down the pipeline. I know it's very exciting, genuinely very exciting. I mean, just seeing that stuff that we've already been revealed, that's already been revealed, like the snake armor, the claw, the Night Force Beachhead and Night Force Quick Kick was really cool as well. Snake Eyes and the polar bear, and the stuff that's already out and pre-ordered already. You know, just that alone, all those renders that we had that are now all, I don't know. It's just really, really cool. And there's a lot of amazing, exciting figures coming. One other thing I will say about this particular Cobra Commander helmet thing situation, it's almost very certainly a head sculpt, even though there's that huge neck space. I think possibly you're just looking at a very early development here, but I would imagine that that kind of sculpt detail around the eyes is going to be painted like skin tone with eye kind of, with eyes in there. So I would imagine that's probably a head sculpt. But like I said, I'm sure we'll probably see more in the near future, I would imagine. Anyway, one last one, and that is a couple of the instruments popped up as well. Now, I don't know if these apparently as well, I've been told early, or I think everyone's been told by Jay Khan, these are early development pieces, even though they've got deco on them. I'm not like, I hope they're not as bendy, because it does look like there's a lot of bend on the arms of both of those things. The guitar, you can see the guitar's very much got like a curve going on, but the guitar, if you look at an image of the guitar that's on the render, that the neck of it is actually quite tall. So, and again, there's probably, with the way it's the angle of the picture as well, but there's definitely some warp going on there. I do hope that is sort of, fixed to some degree. Thanks for reminding me, Scott. Yes, CollectorCon, 13th of March. Don't forget. That will be where we get Crystal Ball from Walmart, and limited quantities on Hasbro Pulse, remember. That's 10 a.m. EST. I think, what is that, 7 a.m. Pacific? 10 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you're ready for that Walmart drop, because, I can imagine Crystal Ball is going to be a sellout on that side of things. Will the band come with instrument hands? I don't know, Stan, actually. That I just, all of the good questions left my brain during the New York Toy Fair, so I didn't ask any decent questions. What I may do, 9 a.m. Central. Yeah, that's 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, you're just filling in the one time I didn't tell, Jeremy. I get it. 7 Pacific, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. So I don't know, but I will be interviewing Lenny and Tony following the 18th live stream. So we'll have everything at hand to discuss with them. Cold Slither is going to be on that agenda. What are the other accessories? What can they tell us about the other accessories that we haven't seen yet? And also things like, unfortunately, I can't really talk about things that are leaked with them. So I can't really, it's like avoiding the elephant in the room sometimes, but it's not like I can say, hey, we've seen leaked images of these instruments. Are they going to have warp? It's not a question that can be asked, unfortunately. So, so I'll think of some other way to kind of talk about that. On top of that, there's other things, like I think a lot of people are asking about water vehicles. So I'm going to ask them question regarding water vehicles and the state of what's going on there. What's going on there in terms of like water-based vehicles? Because like Devilfish, we haven't really seen hide nor hair of. The water moccasin still, evades us. The moray, of course, the whale. Obviously, there's reasons why those two don't exist, but it's definitely something I want to get like some sort of answer from, in terms of, is it something they're considering? Is it something that, is there a reason why we haven't had those yet? That sort of thing. So I'll ask that question. That's definitely on the list, but a lot of it's going to be design based. It's going to be looking at all the stuff that's out. I know Lenny's talked a lot about some of the other stuff in that kind of, well, not a lot, but he's talked briefly, I should say, in regards to the stuff that we've seen recently, but we will cover it in some, fairly brief way, just to make sure we've covered everything. Anyway, Night Landing. Mail away Manta. Exactly. Obviously, the only thing is, don't forget, I can't, or I won't, but I also can't ask questions about specific characters coming in the line. Like, it'll be like, are you guys going to do this? Are you guys going to do that? There'll always be the same answer. We can't talk about upcoming products, but everything's on the table, like every single time. So with water vehicles, it's more general, it's more vague. There's more a reason behind why I'm asking the question, as opposed to when are we getting this, when are we getting that. So I will post after the fan stream, probably just before the fans. Well, probably on the day of the fan stream, I will post a social thing saying what kind of questions do you guys want to ask, and I'll do like a little, viewer listener question sort of situation at the end of the interview, like I did last time, which was about went on and on and on. It was amazing. So I'll do that as well, and I'll pick some of the ones that haven't been answered or that make sense to answer or to ask, I should say, and yeah, go from there. I imagine they won't be able to say, like, there's that whole kind of situation about, is there going to be a HasLab in 2025? A lot of, rumors circling around that particular question, but I don't think they can answer that other than, well, they might be able to, but, just bear in mind, that's one of the ones they probably can't just give us a straight up answer on just yet. But it might be one of those things where they can clarify there will be one, so maybe we can ask that question. Lone Dragon says, let me clarify then, don't ask if they are doing the mean dog, tell them they are doing the mean dog. So guys, when you do the mean dog, yes, indeed, you hope that it could at least wink it. Yeah, indeed, Bias, that'd be hilarious. If they don't have a HasLab, a build to order makes sense, says Max. Possibly. I would put my money on there being a HasLab this year, personally. We need our G.I. Joe classified marshmallow goodness cereal with cardboard cutout G.I. Joe accessories. Yes, we do, Long Online. We need a brainwave scanner playset. It's always been a major factor in the comic series. I agree, Hydrus. I think a brainwave scanner with like Dr. Venom and like a lab rat would be really cool as a set. Or Dr. Venom and then an alternate head lab rat head, so you could buy a couple of them, have like 20 brainwave scanners that you could combine to, like, they could like all combine together like a modular fortification, and then you could have multiple people in a brainwave scanner setup being brainwave scanned, and you could have a Venom and maybe like a couple other lab rats. I think that'd be really dope. Chris, is the claw coming? Yes, 49 O'Brien. When is a very good question. Although I have been chatting with a few people in the background on that one, and as in people in the not like people who know, but just friends and other people and stuff, and G.I. Joe friends, G.I. Joe friends, and one conversation came up, and it was like, do you remember at WonderCon they revealed the ferret? And I was like, yeah, that's true. So maybe the claw could pop up at like a WonderCon, because when's that? Oh God, that's in March, isn't it, as well? I want to say it's like the end of March. So how funny would it be if the claw is like dropped for WonderCon as like a pre-order or something following that? I think it's 28th, Paul, of March, WonderCon. But it would spill into April. And obviously if there was a what do you call it? If there was a pre-order, it wouldn't be on the weekend, it would be following that. So it probably would be in April. But that would be so funny if they did a pre-order for a claw following that show. I'd be well up for that though. It's been way too long in coming, but then you've got to think about how many pre-orders they've dropped at the beginning of the year. So we're not even out of Q1 of the year, and we're having so many pre-orders. It's crazy. Blitz says, late answer, but I definitely want water vehicles. All of this is imaginary play anyway, so water, snow, desert should all be considered. I agree with you, Blitz, on that one. But yeah, in terms of the claw, no clue. But I was having conversations with people in the background, and again, I just mean like other people in G.I. Joe circles. I'm not talking about actual official people. But obviously, WonderCon, it's one of those things where you just like, could be. We got a reveal and all sorts from WonderCon last time, so yeah. Anyway, I think that's everything. Let's quickly look at the listings. Obviously, the same as last time, but it's looking a lot clear. Oh my goodness, not much red left at all, actually. Is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? 13 left. The OG 13. It's probably all OG 13. Just kidding. But yeah, I'm getting very excited to see 2025 kind of like being filled up here. Who's filled up? The real question is, will Tony drop on April Fool's render on April 1st? Oh, I hope so, Scott. My God, that boiled some urine, didn't it, when he posted that Valentine's Day one? Was it on Valentine's Day or was it on April the 1st? I think it was Valentine's Day for the Destro Baroness redecos, which I just thought was funny. But, you know, people did not take well to that for some reason. Saturday's show is going to be packed. Yeah, again, Figure Six Pack. It was a 2-hour blooming episode last weekend. Last weekend, it was like 3 days ago. It was like 2 days ago, if that. It's what is it? What day is it today? It's Tuesday today, isn't it? No, it's Monday today. My God. I thought it was Tuesday already. It's only Monday. How many bursts have I done? This is insane. Yeah, it's going to be a busy one next week for sure. Yeah, Valentine's and I would have bought it, says Jeremy. Yes, yeah, same. Jay says they switched a lot of their production to Vietnam. That's what's causing the holdup. Very likely, Jay. I assume any delay is usually down to some sort of gargantuan factory fnudge up. Log Online says Ross has the Jada diecast Hiss with Destro set for $5.99 if you need them. Cool, thanks for that. Good to know. Chris, you headed to Joe Fest? I don't know yet. I don't think so. I don't think I'm doing Joe Fest this year, but I'll have to see on that one. But I don't think so. The time change affects you, Chris. Yeah, it did, big time. Would I be able to ask about the mass device since they already showed the elements? Yes, Kenny. Do you know what? I will say what the hell is going on with mass device. If you're doing mass device elements, are we getting one? And they'll tell us. We can. Oh, I know what they're going to say, but yeah, we can. I can definitely do like a funny like. So what's happening with the mass device sort of joke, like cutesy one, and that usually opens people up to talk a little bit more around it or about it in like a speculative way. So maybe we can get a bit of conversation going with them regarding something like that, Kenny. Anyway, just checking on a few more comments. Is the Thunder Machine a no-go now? I think, Ken, when it was like discussed ages ago, I think obviously I don't think anything was actually going to happen with it. It was probably more so an item in like a development phase of some description. So yeah, hopefully I don't think it's a no-go. I think a Thunder Machine will happen eventually. I don't know when and I don't know how. Maybe HasLab. It kind of depends, doesn't it? Lenny has said in the past that it was too small for a HasLab. So we'll have to see how that goes. Okay. Right. I will call it a day there, but that's what we are dealing with the listings. Of course, these are the only 2026 listings that have been leaked so far. This is all we know of it, but again, this will grow. This listings of 2025 started a very similar way. Just a few here and there. You usually get the retail waves of 4 listings like in full, and then the other things start kind of like dropping in here, there, and everywhere. So, yeah, more to come with 2026, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Official name only reveals are Snake Eyes version 4, and that's it at the moment. And we've sort of seen a little bit of Snake Eyes version 4, which is interesting, leaked wise. And of course, digital renders, we're down to just the 3 now. Ore Striker with Crankcase, with Crankcase, Slice and Dice 2-pack, and SDCC Cold Slither box set. One more thing. We extended the pre-order for one more day. So today was the last day, or is the last day, to pre-order your Aaron Ironblood t-shirt, courtesy of the Full Force and Codename Iowa. Brian Sauer, of course, on the design. Link in the description and all over the place, all over our socials. Like I said, last day to get that pre-order in if you want one, and of course all the proceeds go to the Dietrich family, who of course lost Aaron Dietrich earlier this year. So in any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will let's put this back on here. And I will see you guys on the next one, which will probably be either in 5 minutes' time or tomorrow, which wouldn't surprise me. Genuinely wouldn't surprise me. Stay fresh cheese bags. I don't know where my hat is. It's over there somewhere. And as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. My voice broke then in that.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full force.